Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Haroldas and today I tried .NET 8 and .NET Aspire. So the first thing that I had to do was to download .NET 8. Then I installed it on my PC. I also had to update and configure my Visual Studio. And then finally I was able to launch my IDE. So if you installed .NET 8 and configured your Visual Studio correctly, you should be able to see a .NET Aspire starter application template. This is the one that I've used. I also added test project just to see what kind of project it would create. So on my first build, it didn't really build correctly and there were some errors. First thing that builds when you launch this template is the admin dashboard, and this built fine. However, the other two projects, the API and the web app, didn't build correctly, so I wasn't able to access them. However, this admin dashboard is really nice. It even comes with a dark mode straight out of the box. So when I went to Resources tab, I could see that both of the projects failed to build. It didn't really tell me why though. I guess the only option I had was to go through the logs and find out why, but I just didn't want to waste time doing that. So instead I just rebuilt the whole solution. This time both of the projects built straight away without any problems. So this is the web app template that you get straight out of the box. You get a counter, this weather table, and just a hello world. Then I started exploring the code and the projects that come as part of this template. Then I modified some of the code just to try and make some changes to the application. I've been recently playing around with the OpenAI's ChatGPT API. I also noticed that they've got a pre-release C# library that I could use, so I decided to try that and add some functionality to the homepage. Because this is not my main machine, I don't have GitHub Copilot set up, so I tried to install the GitHub Copilot extension for Visual Studio, and this didn't work for some reason. So in the end, I just ended up not using GitHub Copilot at all. So this is the pre-release OpenAI.NET library that I've used. So all I did was that I used the very first example from the documentation and added it to the web app. The idea being that on load of homepage, and the API call would be made to the OpenAI large language model API, fetching some kind of a response, then displaying it back to the user. So this is just installing the OpenAI NuGet package. Then I copied the example from the OpenAI's documentation and finally added it to the web app. Then I finally figured out how to display the API response back on the home screen. Then I changed the prompt. This was the result from this very first prompt. Then I changed the prompt again to the following. This time I asked to format the response as an HTML list. This worked, but I still had to figure out how to inject HTML into a Blazor page. So this is the final result. So overall, my thoughts on .NET 8 and .NET Aspire are very positive. I only played around with both of these for a couple of hours, and most of this time was used for the initial setup, so I don't really have a lot of time to get to know all of the ins and outs of it. However, I really like how modern the .NET 8 and .NET Aspire feel. The built-in dashboard with logs, metrics, traces and other stuff is really cool, and you can see how it could be great for larger projects. So now I just can't wait to build something more serious with it, and I also want to try out .NET 9 and see if there are any major differences from 8. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next one.